Dude, we're watching the Wizive show.
Have you ever, thought about killing a rooster? Like the other day, Monday, actually, I had this urge to kill a rooster. Now, there's a little bit more to that story than just, I had an urge to kill a rooster, but here's the whole story. Let me tell you the story, and as I say this story, I want you to think of the rooster as yourself and kind of me as God in the story. And after we're finished with this, then we'll have a little bit of fun. We'll kind of figure something out here, what this story means, what we can get from this story. So, it all started back in, let's see, it was like 2 years ago or something like that. I'm not quite sure, but we started this store. It was I think it was like 3 years ago. We took over this bulk food store, and we decided, my mom and dad decided, you know what, it'd be great to raise our own chickens for the store and sell the eggs. So we decided, okay, that's an awesome, great idea. So we got these little, these little chicks. They're like tiny. And they're actually, when they're that young, they're almost cute, which is kind of cool. And we got them, we put them in the corner of our shop. We kind of put an area, like a corner, we blocked it off or whatever, put walls up, and had them in the corner there, had it nice and heated, so they don't freeze to death. And once they grew, it was all cool till they grew up. Pretty much is how it is. And they grew up and they started to poop all the time, and they started to flap their wings all the time. And they fly up to the top of the wall that we put up for them, and they made an absolute disaster out of our shop. I mean, it was probably like a 1/4 inch of dust over everything. So, one lesson you can get already from this is don't have chickens in your shop unless you have them completely enclosed. So that's just another lesson, in case you're ever thinking about raising chickens there. Now, about 5 of these chickens, actually, when they grew up, we thought they were all chickens, but 5 of those ended up being roosters. And 4 of them, we hauled off to our neighbor, and we decided to keep one. And it was a really good-looking rooster. Now, I was going to say it was a nice rooster, but it wasn't really nice. Look-wise, maybe, but not in attitude. Let's just put it that way. And anyway, we decided, instead of having them in the shop, with all the dust, we built a little chicken coop for them on the outside and had this huge place for them to run around. We had a fence between our shop and our pond that we have, and so they ran around behind the pond and stuff. So it was good. It worked out pretty good. Now, here's kind of the ticker. Almost every time that you go out to collect the eggs or feed them and water them, see, we're taking care of them. We're actually doing something good for them. Like for me, I'd take care of them and whatever, and that's how God will takes care of us. And so every time we walk out there, this rooster would think, that it just had to attack us. For some reason, it got this thing in its mind, it was like, I got to attack them. If I attack them, maybe they'll go away and won't come back. I don't think he realized that we were the ones that actually fed him or something. I don't know what the deal is. But he wouldn't attack you if you were really sly and you kind of looked at him and you walked around him like really carefully. He usually wouldn't attack you, but he'd attack you almost every time. As soon as you turned your head to open the door or whatever, turned your head to do something, he'd like to attack. Then he's like, well, they can't see me, I can attack them. But then you just turn around and you stick your foot out, and be like, you'd stop him, then you give him a good kick and he'd go away. And then, that would be the end of it. But on Monday, I had this very, very particular, unique experience with this rooster. I went out. I went out and opened the door, and let them out and everything, and it was all cool. It was all good. And I went in and gathered the eggs, and then I saw that they needed feed. So I went and got a bucket of feed, had a 5-gallon bucket, and I was walking down toward the chicken coop. And this rooster decided, you know what? I think it'd be a good time to attack him. Even though he's looking at me, hopefully I can hit him just right, and he'll fall back. Or I don't know what his plan was really, but he thought he could do something with me. Because he'd attack and, even though we're like 10 times heavier and stronger and smarter than he is, he thought he could outdo us some way. I don't know what he was thinking, but he attacked me, and I had this 5-gallon bucket in my hand. So I picked up the bucket and I was like, attack the bucket. But he he flew a little bit further up over the bucket and landed on my hand, like with his spurs on my hand, and it kind of made it bleed a little bit. It didn't hurt too bad, but maybe you can see it. I don't know if you can or not, but he actually drew blood. And let's just say I wasn't really happy with him because he wasn't really obeying me. Now, if he would have been really nice, I would never do anything to him. All the time before that, we always kicked him a little bit, and you'd think he would have learned his lesson. I mean, one time my brother actually threw a stone at him and pretty much made him blind in one eye. But somehow he just kept on doing the same thing, thinking he's going to have a different outcome or something. I don't know what the deal is. Which that's another thing. Insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, is insanity. So don't do that. And anyway, when he attacked me, I put down the bucket and I went after him and I kicked him. Well, he attacked me right away again, and I kicked him pretty hard. It felt really good. But anyway, I decided, I've had enough of this thing. I was kind of getting angry, and if you know me, I don't really get angry often. There's very, very seldom that you'll ever find me angry. I just don't think it's worth it. I think it's kind of dumb getting angry over something. Instead, I'd rather try to make peace. But I went after this rooster, and I just kept kicking him for probably a couple minutes. And things started squealing like I have never heard a rooster squeal and squawk and go crazy. The thing just would run as fast as it could go and was like, "Bark, bark, bark, bark." And like it was something was wrong, and I just kept going after it and kicking it, and it finally kind of got away from me. I was like, oh, I'll just let it go. I thought about killing it. That was kind of the urge I had. I mentioned earlier about killing a rooster. Well, that's kind of how it happened there. And then here's the funny thing. I went after my business, and the next day I go out there to again take care of them. And when I opened the door to let them out, and the rooster, all the chickens came out, and the rooster was kind of standing there in the corner of the door, and I let them all usually get out. And then the rooster kind of pawed really carefully out the steps and really quickly jumped off the other side of the steps than I was, kind of ran up the hill a little bit and kind of looked at me and kind of backed away. It's really, really funny because I think I put kind of the fear of God in him. I put a little bit of fear of him, and he finally decided, maybe it's not worth trying to tackle this, guy this being that's so much bigger and stronger and smarter than me. So that's kind of the end of the story. And here's what I got from it. A lot of the times, we're kind of like the rooster. If we would like to admit it or not, we fight against God like we're going to get somewhere. I mean, think about Jonah in the Bible. He fought against God, thinking, oh, I can do this and I can go the other way than what God wants me to do. But God always wins. God will always get you back on track. And every so often, God will have to discipline us. Like every so often, we had to punish the rooster when it attacked us, when it went against us, and we just kind of kick it away. We discipline it, and it was a little bit of pain. It was a little bit painful. But finally, the last time after a big disciplining lesson, the rooster decided, okay, I'm giving up, I'm going back. And that's what God does sometimes for us. He'll chasten us to make us better. He'll allow some bad things to happen to us, not because he doesn't love us, but because he loves us, and he wants us to be on the straight path to him so that we stop fighting against him, because it's really not worth fighting against God. It will never work. I don't care how hard you try, how many sins you commit, whatever. Every sin you commit is you're fighting against God. You're saying, oh, God's not worth it, or whatever. Somehow you're thinking that God won't see it or something. And he always sees it, and he's always there. So the lesson for this week, the WizIve goal for this week is to don't fight against God, and instead keep his commandments, follow him. And also the verse that I found that kind of goes along with this is, let me actually get my laptop here so I can read it off, because I didn't remember it. Maybe I should have. But it's Joshua 22:5. But be very careful to keep the commandment and the law that Moses, the servant of God, gave you, to love the Lord your God, to walk in obedience to him, to keep his commands, to hold fast to him, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul. Now, see, if the rooster had acted differently and had actually been nice to me and wouldn't have attacked me and just maybe walked up beside me and was nice and friendly and whatever, then it would have been kind of following our commandments and what we wanted it to do and our will. And that's the same thing with God and us. If we follow God's will and God's law, He doesn't need to send us bad things to happen. Sometimes He still does, like, to even make us even better, because it was like this: if God doesn't send the bad things, then we will never become better than we already are. Because we can take those bad things and we can take them and we can see them as a correction, as, you know what, I was a little bit selfish in this area and I didn't think about it before this happened. Now I realize it. And so now I can change. Now there's a lot more to this, and there's a lot more stuff we could get out of this, but I got to finish this because don't want it to get it too long. So anyway, you have a great day and thanks for watching.
Okay, so how'd you like the video? Again, comment below and share with your friends if you liked it. And the WizIfe goal for the day, this is the second video, this is the second goal, is don't fight against God, but instead keep His commandments. And that goes with Joshua 22:5, which is love the Lord your God, to walk in obedience to Him, to keep His commandments, to hold fast to Him, and to serve Him with all your heart and with all your soul.
Okay! It's that part of the show where we do the quote, the Bible quote or joke of the week. And so, let's get into that. Okay, today we have another Bible joke. And again, this is kind of sad because nobody actually gave me a joke. So I'm going to have to do it again. So if you want a different joke, instead of, you don't want me to do it again, do it yourself. Give me a joke. I need one. So anyway, here goes. What did Eve ask Adam before their first argument? Adam, is there another woman? At what time of day was Adam created? A little before Eve. Did Eve never have a date with Adam? No, it was an apple. Where is the first math problem mentioned in the Bible? In Genesis, when God told Adam and Eve to go forth and multiply. Hope you enjoyed it. Okay, as I mentioned right before I said all those little jokes, if you want to submit a Bible joke or quote of the week, then all you have to do is there's two ways you can do this. Number one, you can, as a video response on this video on YouTube, you can have a video response where you have a camera on you and you tell either a joke or a quote. And then I can use that. Or you can contact me on the wizife.com website. You can contact me and I will say the joke or quote for you. This has been the WizIfe Show. I want to thank you for watching and God bless you, and we'll see you next week.
Because I'm one who talks to God.